Olá! Olha, ontem eu tive a oportunidade de um evento excepcional, uma coisa privada para poucos privilegiados, que foi uma degustação vertical lá na Croix, com os vinhos do próprio Croix. O Geoffroy Croix é hoje o principal executivo, não só da sua importadora aqui, mas de uma propriedade em Pommard, muito conhecida, muito famosa, que é o Conte Armand, que é de sua família. E veio para cá o enólogo deles e ele fez então alguns encontros. Eu tive nesse encontro ontem, que foi sensacional, e gravei muita coisa para vocês. Olha que bacana, vale a pena ver.
Não, vou só apresentar rápido tudo. Acho que vocês estão conhecendo, mas vou fazer uma rápida apresentação e depois vou deixar o Paul falar. Quem faz o vinho.
Você conhece o produtor, né, Geoffroy?
Eu ouvi falar que é um cara super chato. Que é melhor não falar muito com ele. Não, mas somente para apresentar um pouco a vinícola da família. Uma vinícola que existe logo depois da Revolução. Tínhamos os Epeneaux, UTS, a Romanée Saint-Vivant. E nos anos mais ou menos 1900 eles decidiram vender uma boa parte das vinícolas e guardar somente que eles estavam gostando mais. E então eles guardaram o Cru dos Epeneaux, venderam os Epeneaux UTS e o Romanée Saint-Vivant, que hoje em dia é
respeitado.
O Cru dos Epeneaux são 5,23 hectares. Está tudo cercado pela muro,
Muro.
Tem uma energia muito especial. Paul vai falar mais em detalhe disso, mas tem também uma diversificação de solo incrível nesse clos, que deixa fazer uma grande complexidade, deixa brincar para fazer a assemblagem depois de cada 4 parcelas que estamos vinificando separadamente. E para falar um pouco também da produção, faz desde os anos 80 e pouco que estamos produzindo de maneira orgânica. Isso foi como o Pascal Marchand. Depois chegou o Benjamin Leroux, que foi um método biodinâmico. E desde 2014, Pascal já tinha começado. E agora o Paul que chegou e estamos adorando o trabalho que ele está fazendo. Acho que ele tem uma visão muito especial desse terroir. Ele produz vinho que estou achando mais pronto hoje, mais delicado. Mas ele vai falar melhor do trabalho dele, então agora vamos fazer uma vertical clássica, a partir de 2011 até 2019. E agora acho que foi servido o 2011, hein?
2011.
Perfeito.
11. Just few word about me, but it's right, I think, on your fish. Yes, I'm arrived at the estate in 2014, but I started to work in the Conte Armand in 2010 with Benjamin Leroux. I think it's important to speak about the Benjamin Leroux and Pascal Marchand. Some people know very well Pascal Marchand since 88. And Pascal Marchand, when he started in 85, 84 I think. Of course, the domain was still was present, but he did a big work to put some organic system in the vineyard. It was a new generation with Dominique Lafont, Christophe Commier. Some people very important for Burgundy now, and they put a new energy in the appellation and in Burgundy. So Pascal started in 84, I said, until 98, and after that it was Benjamin Leroux. Benjamin Leroux, it's a lovely guy, very talented, and like Pascal, not like me because I'm not sympathetic. No, and the same Benjamin Leroux when he started in '99 was very young, like Pascal Marchand, like me, and it was always the same profile of winemaker. I don't want to speak about enologue because I'm not enologue. I'm just a winemaker.
Et Vinatello in português, hein?
Vinatello.
So they chose Contarmant, Mr. Gabriel Armand de Contarmant. It was a bet to choose his à Paris, c'est ça? To choose Pascal Marchand or Benjamin Leroux or me. So, but it was a bet qu'on dit gagnant, winning bet, I think. So they put every winemaker put his sign on the wine. That means Mr. Armand, Le Comte Armand, never said to one guy, you have to do this kind of wine because we have a market like this, and Comte Armand plus Epeneaux, it's a style of wine, you have to do aging of 20 years, I don't know. He said, okay, I give you the key and you have to do the best wine you can, and you have to do to tell a story to people like you, to people around the world. So it's a rarity in Burgundy to have this kind of system, I think. And it's a great chance for me because I can do not what I want, but what I want, of course, but it's not mine, so...
You won't make sparkling tomorrow.
Okay, I want to do orange wine, no?
Orange wine from Burgundy.
With some peanuts. No, so, but I can do what I want, but I want to be careful with the quality. So, I started in 14. So 14 we had one vintage in 14. It was not the easier vintage, as you know, because we had big trouble with ale in 12, 13, 14. Important for you to imagine the yield of Croix. Croix, it's like he said, it's a big monopole. It's more than 5 hectares, 5.23 feet. So in the top 5, top 10 of the biggest monopole, and Grand Cru and Premier Cru in Côte de Beaune, Côte de Nuit. So there are a lot of different soil, different kind of soil, different age of vine, of course. There are 5 different terroirs in Cru des Epeneaux inside the wall. And I spoke together with you about the wall impact, because there are big walls around the clos, and we have in this kind of clos in Burgundy, we have a big impact with the new climate. It's warmer inside, so the vegetation grows quickly in Croix des Epeneaux. The maturity is different with the wine against the wall. So there are a lot of things to consider. So yes, this last vintage we had not 2021 because it was particular. It was not warm, but 2020, 19, and 18. It's difficult to work in this kind of clos. But it's lovely clos because we can, for example, I put some tree 2 years ago. I plant some tree each year because there are some space around the vine. Okay, we have some bee. We produce our honey, just a small production, but it's funny. We put some. À chaque fois j'oublie nos fameuses
sheep.
Les sheep, ouais.
The petit sheep.
The big sheeps. So we have some sheep we put for the winters. It's funny. It's not funny. It's interesting. It's not only funny,
But they're funny though.
I think what is beautiful after otherwise. And no, so we try to recreate biodiversity. We put some bat cabin, bat house. For bats. So we can do a lot of things inside because it's quite big. I think it's interesting to test now the first vintage if you want. We can speak after, of course, about the vineyard, the vinification, my philosophy. So enjoy. Start with 11 until long aging, and after that, after aging in barrels, I keep the one for 1 month, 2 months in tank for another precipitation, sedimentation. So yes, naturalist for vinification, of course. Yeah, and all is distant. Inclusive, no, not I say all, but it's wrong. It's I can put some perhaps maximum 10 to 15% of wall bench. And wall bench, I put some, I make some strat like a millefeuille.
Ah, je préfère faire une millefeuille. En tout cas, Mathieu, la burger, j'ai bien beaucoup plus de régal au millefeuille qu'au burger, comme image.
À la fin, on y arrive. On y arrive à la fin.
On y arrive.
Cold maceration. Alors, I don't have any plan. Each vintage, of course, is different. So I do my plan of vinification when I see the quality of grapes and when I have the grapes on the table, table de tri. Because I try to work with my sensibility and I'm very sensitive.
All French. All the French guys.
I cry a lot. No, just I speak about it before, but I said that I don't have a lot of diploma. I'm not a learner, like I said, so I think I start to learn viticulture and vinification when I was young, when I was 18, 17 years old. And I learn, en français on dit sur le tas, c'est-à-dire I learn
a bit later in life.
Yeah. And I think it's very important. It's not necessary to be an enólogue to make wine. Like I say often this week that when make wine it's very easy. He said, oh no, right?
No, but we agree, but to make good wine is a bit more.
Yeah, but the wine, if you make wine, it's okay. After you have to.
Yeah.
The big difference between Pascal Marchand, Benjamin Leroux, and me, it's the palate. My palate is different to Benjamin. I think for me it's the best, it's the most important thing. I think it's the same for you. You are a professional. If you don't taste good, it's difficult to work in wine. So it's the same for me. The vinification, I do what I need to do. It depends on the quality, and of course we try to have the best quality, and that's why we spend a lot of time in the vineyard to have this quality, the best quality to have on Pinot Noir. It's not easy each year because some years with in organic in Burgundy you have trouble with mildew or odium. If it's not mildew or odium, you can have some frost. If it's not frost, you can have some ale. And Pommard, and this side of
it never ends.
You can see it's so easy to make wines. No spray.
Anyone can make wine.
Yeah. No, but because I think on Pommard we are unlucky. Unlucky with ale. We had a big storm of ale for 3 years in 2013, 14 and 12, 13, 14. So in 10 minutes all the vineyard was destroyed and we lost more than 80%. And it's always in the same time, it's in July when the vine is nice, you can see the grapes start to change the color, C'est comme ça, c'est la vie.
C'est comme ça.
C'est comme ça. And frost, we had frost of course in April 16 and 21 too. But c'est comme ça, c'est pas grave. Il y a plus malheureux. Non, mais voilà, il faut relativiser. I mean, on 14, but we have, it's a young wine, but we can feel, some, the tannin is more strict than the other wine. You will taste after the other wine. That's why I can speak about, it's not taste of ale, but it was so stressed in 14, the wine was so stressed, that at the end the grapes the skin was quite sick, very sick. We had a lot of dry berry, so it was important to take off this dry berry, because if you put this dry berry in your tank, after that you have this taste of ale. So we spent a lot of time for at the end small quantity, but it was important, I think, in this vintage. And it was my first, it's my baby. It's all my baby. Yeah, big stress. Heureusement, on a eu qu'à 2015 arrive after, 15 arrive. 15 very small yield because we had so big impact of hail in 14 and the vineyard need 1 year or more to be able to recover. So the yield in 15 was quite small too. But at the end the quality was exceptional. For me it's one of the best vintage since a long time. In the last 20 years, perhaps more. It's perhaps in the number 1 or number 2. 10 it's for me. It's marvelous. It's more precise than 15, but 15 is more huge and potential of killing is big. Okay, I put on this vintage. I didn't put on 14, but I put 15% of world bench here. And we try to be careful. I try to be careful when I speak about distamping. We try to be careful to keep the whole berry in the tank, to have a maceration into the skin. Cold maceration for when we can. Sometimes it's possible, sometimes it's not possible because it's very warm. But when it's warm, we keep the grapes for 1 night in a stock to 10 degrees at 10 degrees. And after that, the next morning, the grapes are at 13, so it's good for cold maceration. I prefer to work for vinification, to start to work, I speak about extraction and punch down, to work in this cold maceration because I think it's easier to extract, and you extract less artanine when you start at this moment, because Pommard is very special, and you have, perhaps you have, some people have this picture of big wine, you know, very strict and rustic sometimes. I think it's changed since, you know the wine from Contamont since a long time, and you think you can see, I think you can see the difference between Pascal, and I think the quality and the wine in 80s, 90s wasn't the same than the wine in 20, enfin en 2000 et tout ça.
But Pommard is always, we learn by the books and from the teachers that Pommard is always more strong Burgundy, more.
Yeah, it's because the soil is a lot of clay.
Muscle kind of Pinot Noir. Yeah.
More than Chambolle and Volnay, for example. I think now it's changed because we, if I produce a wine where it's you have to wait 20-30 years, I think it will be difficult to. But some people say to me, slow down, Paul, slow down with restriction. Okay. In last vintage, acidity was important for. Yeah. No. Perhaps in 5 years I will change my point of view about world bench, but for the moment, no.
You're representing 100% whole bunch.
Yeah.
You don't change one this thing.
You're a flexible guy.
No, only punch down at the beginning. It's 1 per day maximum, and slowly. And after it's pumping over. One per day. I don't make any generality, but each vintage is so different that it's not possible to say I do each. Okay. For example, 2021, we don't have the 2021 here, but 2021, in 10 days the fermentation was finished. When 1 week was finished. So at one moment you have to extract something, because at the end you have juice with nothing. So yeah, it's different. So 2021 we did a lot of punch down because we need to extract something, and the structure was okay. I can speak. We will test after one vintage like 18, 19, 20. I don't 20, sorry, I don't have. The skin was so ripe that it was not a trouble with extraction, because the tannin was ripe, it was soft. And yeah. we just before harvest we did some analysis of the grapes, but it's just for sugar, acidity, tartaric like this to see the potential of the vintage. And we did in 4 times, 5 times, 3 times. We taste the skin, we taste the grapes, the berry, and to see if it's ready or not in the skin. And when it's sick, you know, that means it's not ready. And for me, the degree of alcohol is not a problem. It's not because it's more than 14.5. It's the impact of the vintage. It's like this. It's okay. And because we keep the acidity, the balance, the wine is very balanced. But we need to have more on Pommard than in other villages. For example, I think on Geoffroy it's less a problem. But Pommard, if you don't have a marvelous quality of skin, that means very ripe and like this, but you come back in the old style of Pommard, very tight, very hard, very not very fun for a long time, and it's difficult. So you have to manage with all this. Just feel about 16 after. 16 was frost in 16. Very small yield too, but at the end very ripe, very. When you have no grapes in your wine, of course the quality is perfect. So 16 is very lovely. After that you have 17. 17, it's for me it's classic, but classic in the good term. That means it's more Pinot than perhaps the vintage after you have. So it's more. Some journalists speak about 17, said, "Oh no, it's not good." For me, it's not. When you are in the restaurant now, if you want to choose, for me, if I had to choose a wine and wine list, I choose a 17. For me, it's ready now to drink. Of course, you can keep it. It's better to keep it, and you can imagine the wine in the future. It will be. It's a very fine wine. 18 after 18, it's for me it's perhaps one of the biggest potential of keeping on Cru Clos. It's a big wine, a complete wine for me. The yield was quite similar between 17 and 18, and the yield on Cru Clos it's a maximum of 30, 31, 34 hectoliters per hectare. So it's not big, and for the vintage it was quite small. But very different wine. We can't compare these two vintage, I think. And we have one vintage in 18. It was we produced. It was more than 14 degrees, but it was for the Trump tax. No, it's a joke. And at the end, we have.
You make wine not to pay tax.
Yes. Bolsonaro tax. No, it's a joke too. And at the end we have 19. 19. 19. It's funny because it's when I did the tasting in the cellar. Of course, when it's young, it's difficult sometimes to taste, but 19 was always good. So because I think it was so warm that the tannin was so ripe that it was always soft. Structure very precise and very fine, but huge about the maturity and I lose my words, sorry, but c'est un vin qui est généreux.
Very rich.
Very generous, rich.
But 18 perhaps even more rich, no?
Yes, but I think we have more acidity on 18, and the tannin is more present. It's more sweet on 18 than 19. Voilà.
Geoffroy, queria agradecer o convite, obviamente, agradecer a presença do Paul e queria que você falasse um pouquinho a respeito do perfil do consumidor desse vinho, porque o Brasil é um país tão exótico que você resolveu mudar para cá. Culpa da Bia. Mas enfim, mas nós temos um perfil de consumidor muito complicado. E esse aqui é um vinho que exige conhecimento, exige um certo savoir-faire. Como é que você vê, do que você vende aqui hoje, desse vinho, como é que é o consumidor, hein?
É engraçado, acho que não tem perfil só, não muito homogêneo, você fala em português?
Homogêneo, né?
Tem realmente tudo, tem os apaixonados pelo Pinot Noir, tem os colecionadores de rótulos, mas isso que estou achando muito legal é que para esse tipo de vinho você não encontra perfil só.
É legal isso.
A única coisa que infelizmente é a triste realidade é que é vinho que como todas as taxas, é caro. Então, necessariamente está limitando pouco por causa disso, mas realmente tem de todos os tipos.
Tudo um pouco.
Exatamente.
Eu tenho o curioso que não sabia da existência do Comte Armand.
É isso.
Tem quem já conhece, fala, tem Comte Armand.
E depois os bebedores de rótulos que são talvez
é uma fatia muito boa.
Mas menos interessantes.
Claro. Claro.
Mas exatamente tem bebedor genuíno que estão querendo provar vinhos da Borgonha biodinâmico, que realmente vai refletir terroir forte, que tem uma personalidade forte, que estão vendo para conhecer isso.
Bárbaro. Merci.
C'est 18, não sabia? 18 ans?
18.
C'est bien, très bien.
Ouais.
On va te des surprises ici. Tout est surprenant, c'est une surprise, Non, c'est très bien. So it's not 19, it's 18. Ok? C'est 18. Très bien.
Ça, c'est exactement ce que moi disais.
Eh ben, tu vois, c'est très bien. C'est très bon. Un peu plus d'âge. So it's this wine is produced with 3 vineyards in Burgundy, 1 in Pommard, 1 in Volnay, and 1 in Meursault. There are 2 baby vines on Pommard and Volnay, 8 to 12 years old now. It's green aligoté on Volnay and Pommard, and we have a small vineyard on Meursault. It's a very old vine, more than 86 now, I think 87. It's a gold aligoté doré. I say that because it's not a big production of aligoté. It's j'ai combien, 2,000, 3,000 bottles, it depends of the vintage, so it's quite small. Non, c'est vrai, ça peut être.
C'est vrai, non, tu contestes pas.
So aligoté, it's for me, it's perhaps the future of the Burgundy. No, but aligoté is lovely for different reasons. But the first, it's we produce some aligoté for a long time. It was for Crémant Bourgogne, for sparkling wine like this. It was green aligoté, very acid. Okay. After that, we always produce some aligoté from dry aligoté for Kir. Kir, famous in Burgundy. Sometimes it's good, bon Kir. C'est un peu fort. And after that, since I think 15 years, perhaps more, I don't know, some producers try to make good aligoté. And with the climate changements, it's easier because we need a good maturity on aligoté. It's very generous variety. So we have to be careful with quantity because you can produce more than in champagne. It's huge grapes. But it's always acid, so you can do acidity. We need to have, that's why aligoté, I pick aligoté always 3 weeks after the end of my harvest, for red harvest, okay? So it's always a bed because sometimes it's work because the sun is present, the climate is perfect. Sometimes it starts to have a lot of mold like this. But I pick the aligoté when the skin starts to be pink, okay, or gold for gold aligoté. I press all these 3 parcels together in the press. I use a vertical press. I didn't speak about it, but for red I use a vertical press. Okay, it's very important. We can speak about it after. But for white,
Wood one.
It's not wood because it's a new one. It's,
wood with woods. No, the press.
No,
It's already
it's
inox.
new generation of vertical press.
Okay,
So
okay.
it's easier to work.
Okay.
We have some. It's on steel.
Steel. Yeah.
But it's not possible to press on white with this vertical press because it's you need to make a lot of rebêchage, you need to open the press, take off the grafts, reput. So I prefer to use a pneumatic press. It's better. It's good for white. So after that I do a small décantage, we speak about débourbage. And for aging I keep the wine for 14 months here on fine lees. Okay, I don't do any batonnage. I don't do any. I don't chop the wine. Small filtration on it because I want to have a clear wine. Sometimes a small collage to have another precipitation and voilà. And I do very important. I do two aging here. One, there's 50% come in, stay only in tank. In steel tank, okay, and 50% are in big barrels of 600 liters.
Secondary fermentation normally?
Yeah, I do fermentation. I don't put any chemical yeast.
But I mean like malolactic goes on.
Yeah, malolactic, I do malolactic. Malolactic is not necessary to do it. It's not a. It's comment on dit. C'est pas un devoir.
It's an obligation.
It's not an obligation, yeah. But some years it's interesting to don't do the malolactic fermentation because you keep the acidity. And but on this vintage I do the malolactic fermentation. One Aligoté 19 on it's Bourgogne Aligoté 19. It's I love Aligoté, so it's nice variety and very special for Bourgogne. So. On fait quoi? On sert tout? On fait un vin? On fait... Non,
Je crois on peut tout servir et pendant que tu parles, on va continuer de servir.
Ouais, voilà, ok.
Donc ça ira rapidement, ouais.
Okay. On va déjà faire le...
Pergunto para o Geoffroy ditado francês que toda vez eu nunca consigo decorar e que eu acho muito interessante, e ele toda vez também se enrola para explicar. Você quer ver que legal? Nós estamos tomando aqui essas maravilhas aqui, que terminou com um branco. E eu nunca me lembro aquela expressão do blanc après le rouge, que quelque chose que bouge. Como é que é isso?
C'est rouge sur blanc, rien ne bouge. Blanc sur rouge, tout fulgant.
Não, começa de novo.
Rouge sur blanc, blanc sur rouge, rien ne bouge. Blanc sur rouge, rien ne bouge, rouge sur blanc, tout fulgant.
E agora a tradução para os brasileiros e os ignorantes como eu.
Tem que beber pouco mais para fazer a tradução.
Tomar o branco, o tinto depois do branco.
Branco no tinto, tudo está se mexendo, e branco no tinto, tudo fulgant. Tudo está caindo.
Tudo está caindo? É meio uma brincadeira isso.
Brincadeira.
Ok.
Não faz muito sentido em português porque não tem essa rima.
Não tem a rima.
Non, c'est vraiment c'est le drame, t'es plus en état, c'est la fin, quoi.
Mas realmente é um hábito da Bourgogne você tomar o branco depois do tinto. Ou não? Eu participei de uma degustação com o Robert de Villene e ele serve o branco no final.
No final, tem um produtor que gosta mais de fazer esse jeito aussi.
Interessante.
Mas é questão de sensibilidade.
E a respeito do consumidor do Comte Armand, um vinho de quase R$2.000, que é excepcional e que eu tinha curiosidade de saber como é que são esses compradores, né? Quem são esses clientes? Olha o que o Geoffroy contou. Geoffroy, queria agradecer o convite, obviamente, agradecer a presença do Paul e queria que você falasse um pouquinho a respeito do perfil do consumidor desse vinho. Porque o Brasil é um país tão exótico que você resolveu mudar para cá. Culpa da Bia. Mas enfim, mas nós temos um perfil de consumidor muito complicado. E esse aqui é um vinho que exige conhecimento, exige um certo savoir-faire. Como é que você vê, do que você vende aqui hoje, desse vinho, como é que é o consumidor, hein?
É engraçado, acho que não tem um perfil só, não muito homogêneo, você fala em português?
Homogêneo,
tem realmente tudo, tem os apaixonados pelo Pinot Noir, tem os colecionadores de rótulos, mas isso que estou achando muito legal é que para esse tipo de vinho você não encontra um perfil só.
É legal isso.
A única coisa que infelizmente a triste realidade é que é um vinho que como todas as taxas, é caro. Então, necessariamente está limitando um pouco por causa disso, mas realmente tem de todos os tipos.
Tudo um pouco.
Exatamente.
Eu tenho o curioso que não sabia da existência do Comte Armand.
É isso.
Tem quem já conhece, fala, tem Comte Armand.
E depois os bebedores de rótulos que são talvez
é uma fatia muito boa.
Mas os menos interessantes.
Claro. Claro.
Mas exatamente tem bebedor genuíno que estão querendo provar vinhos da Borgonha biodinâmico, que realmente vai refletir terroir forte, que tem uma personalidade forte, que estão vendo para conhecer isso.
Bárbaro. Merci.
Okay.
Bom, é isso, gente. Espero que você tenha gostado. Visite a Croix, que você só tem coisa boa lá. Saúde!